So, this is the first episode of Mojito Monday match analysis. I will be analyzing some gameplay and seeing things that I may be able to improve on. If you want for me to analyze games in the future for you, just send them my way. Check Discord or check do bang analysis in the chat, and it'll give you a link to the channel where you can submit your replays. So let's get started and see why is this not going. So we're playing a game, or we did me versus Lean30AR, Mongols versus Chinese. I don't exactly remember what happened in this game, but I think I lost this one. So I'm going to be focusing mostly on what I did, and how I reacted to things, and we'll go from there. So we're going to fast forward until stuff matters. So here I'm scouting. Pretty standard, I think. I just open up with 6 on sheep. And then, this is when I just got the Mongol huts. Forgot about that. So we got 6 on food, 1 on sheep. How's my scouting looking? Scouting looking's fine. Do we have 7? Oh yeah, so I messed up and didn't quick queue my villager down to the wood line. And then I also was focusing too much on, so if we view lock, I'm focusing up here, and I don't realize that guy's empty, so that loses a couple seconds of resource gathering, which could have been improved, but not too bad, all things considered. So we can speed up again. Take out view lock. I wish it was back and forth. So now I do a boar lure. I have a lot of food floating here. A little stutter because my game is affected by that. So there I definitely should have, since I'm playing Mongols and not at Mayans, I don't have Loom already, I should have garrisoned that villager by the time he got back, since he was already at about half health. Now he's easily snipeable, and if my opponent were to see this with a scout running through, he could get I guess a Hera snipe or something, because one scout attack I think will actually kill that, especially because he is the Chinese. Actually, no, I'm thinking of not Egyptians, Meso civs. So that was not the best boar pull. I did get the boar pull successfully and didn't lose a villager, so it's a small win, but that's definitely something to improve on. Build a house down here so that I can start walling up, which is fine. Send 1 to get a boar lure. I think I may get housed. No, I don't get housed. I think if I had scouted a little bit better, I would have found, so if we go take Fog of War off, yeah, if I'd scouted this a little bit earlier, I would have known to build my houses like this, and then I would have been able to get a better wall as opposed to going down like this, and wasting wood, which I think does affect me a little bit. This side isn't as wallable, unfortunately. It can be, but that's going to be a long wall. Yo, what's up, Quibbles? I'm just doing some match analysis, trying to get better at the game, and drinking a mojito. So, finally actually got around to buying sugar, so I can make mojitos. It's not a very good one, but hopefully I'll improve as weeks go by. I also let it sit out, so it's a little warm right now, which is unfortunate, but so let's get back here. So put Fog of War back on. So build my mill in the most obvious spot. Do a lure. Yeah. So there I garrison the villager, and you can see she's still at really good health, so that's good. My geese are a little bit far away from my TC right now, just because if a scout runs by, he can grab it and just cause problems. I think I'm not supposed to build these farms super early. I built the farms way too early, and I don't think I need to. Oh no, I'm doing a scout rush, I think. So I'm doing a scout rush. If I'm doing a scout rush, I should have 5 on berries, which is a mistake. So, yeah. I should have 5 on berries, not build the farms quite yet. This one, she's going out to build lumber camp, which is forward. I probably should have built the lumber camp back here, because that way it'll avoid getting towered or anything like that. And at this point is where I'm starting to scout. Probably should have sent the scout earlier. I scouted a lot of my inner area. So here, I think I start going to wall up in the middle of feudal age. I just go to build it. Oh yeah, he tags my scout. He's being very defensive with the scout, which I should have realized means he's pushing deer. Oh, I think this is the Smurf. I guess the Chinese scout is faster, or I just took a bad turn. Yeah, I'm just turning around and trying to slow down the build of the barracks. Back home, nothing too much is happening. Queue up some houses, try to build up this wall. And I get trapped here because I wasn't paying attention. And so I lose my scout, and that's really bad. Though I do know he had multiple on gold, I saw. Which means that he's probably starting early aggression. So that's why I rush my wall. I think I sent some vills to start walling up. Where is this guy going? Yeah, he's starting to wall. I get to feudal. I build the wall first, and I focus too much on walling here, as opposed to actually getting a stable up. Like right now, I should have a stable and already be building scouts. So I am a little bit behind here, and I think this is where I actually just start losing. Yeah, so I back up, I build a stable, but I've already been feudal for over a minute, and that's been a problem. Also, this guy, fucking the pathing lately has been atrocious. I have not queued my guys onto a straggler, which is a mistake. There, I changed it. I think I changed it up. Yeah, I changed it up here, and that should fix that. But here I'm just sitting blind, which is a problem, and especially because my gold is so forward. Both my golds are forward. Actually, I have this back gold, which I probably should have realized when he picked gold. I should have probably taken this backwards gold first. Yeah, build a spearman early so that I can make sure in case he does a scout rush, which I shouldn't have bothered with a spearman because I saw the gold, so I should have known better. I have idols. I think I get a couple good. I kill a scout though, which is convenient. But I think I'm just kind of screwed at this point. So if we take the fog of war off, he's going archery ranges. I think at this point, the smarter thing to do would be to send this spearman forward and just scout some stuff. Now that I killed the scout, I should know that there's not much else coming, and the men-at-arms haven't come. So I should realize at this point that I'm not getting men-at-arms rushed. So I finally send my scouts up, now that I have 3. I don't think I box formation them, which I definitely should be doing. I get a couple more scouts. I think maybe I should have gone for bloodlines, but he has some archers now, which I pick off. I didn't realize how close we were, but I'm building my walls really forward. I think I pick a villager or 2 off. He starts fast walling his gold, which is really smart of him. And I think I'm not paying attention. Yep, yeah, so I get this villager, but I definitely lose a lot of HP on the scouts. Pull them off. Harass his berries. He fights with the villagers. I might have won this game. But I get a villager. Villager for a scout is definitely traded. He sends in his spearman. I think I pick off this. He doesn't attack right away. I pick off that villager and I just start scouting with him again. Then I'm pretty sure I focus back, so I view lock. I'm definitely just focusing on my eco right now because I've gotten such a massive lead. And there, I think, is a hole here. Yep. So I think this is what kills me later, is I miss this hole. So that my scout's just running around, view lock, focusing on eco, which is the right thing to do because that scout's pretty much dead. I should probably send these guys up and try to pick off an archer or 2 because he was sending his archers, spawning his archers forward instead of garrisoning them. Send this up. Yeah, I see some archers. I pick off these 2 archers. I don't know where you're going. I still don't know. Probably going to that farm. But he has a lot of archers and some spears. So I probably should have ran my scouts away there. And the key thing is I have not been building more scouts or any army. I started switching into skirms. That's right. I switched into skirms. Where are the skirms coming from? Where's my archery range? It is right here. And I queued up a bunch of skirms, which is fine. But seeing as he has 4 archers and spearmen, I think he has 2 more back here. I should have been at least queuing up a couple scouts. I should have been making some skirms. Hell with maybe even a men-at-arms to deal with some spears. Probably not the men-at-arms, that seems a little bit redundant. But not having walled this off, instead of building out with this wall, I should have been building it in. If not, even just building it to the gold, and then from the gold here into this gold. So that way if they wanted to get in past my wall, they'd have to go past the TC and I can garrison and pick off some people. But yeah, God, warm mojitos suck. I might go throw those in the fridge real quick. I'm actually going to do that. We'll be right back. Alright. So, because yeah, I think trickling skirmishers at the rate they're building right now is not enough. He definitely should have been attacking. Like, now he sends them up. He has 8 archers. I can't deal with 8 archers right now. So now I finally see them. I realize there's a fucking gap here, and I think I try to plug it, but it is far too late. Granted, not like there's much of a hole. I try to block her in. I don't block in well. So I have a scout. She goes in to block any reinforcements. And I just take bad trades here. But my thought is, I think at this point, that if I can just start taking some people down, I won't have to deal with them. Because now that it's walled in, I don't have to worry about more reinforcements. I'm going to lose a couple of villagers here, and I lost some skirms. And this is where the 1 man-at-arms might be nice, is to deal with this 1 pikeman. But I am slowly... He's not microing his archers at all, so I can just kind of trade poorly. I'm not microing my skirms either, which is a mistake. I don't know what I'm doing. I am focusing on eco. Because my idea is that if I can survive this wave, I'll have a much better eco than he has. Oh, I'm also trying to wall off, so I don't fucking... So he doesn't send more in. So I finally start cleaning up those guys. These archers come in. He's not focusing. He's not microing at all. And so he doesn't see the easy pick off of the Wallville. Finally does. I send her away. I think he runs. And so at this point I've stabilized. And I have a bunch of skirms. And now the right thing to do here would actually be to, once I clean this up, send the skirms. I think I chase these archers, which isn't really the best idea. And I think I lose track of them because I just ignore this. But I think sending these skirms up to here, just to scout what he's been up to, or even sending some of these skirms, drop one of these wall pieces, go and send the skirms up, and just see what he's up to. Maybe pick off an archer or 2 now that he's trying to rebuild would be smart. And most importantly, I need to see if I need to keep building skirms, because the skirms are cutting into my food, which means that that's cutting into my castle time. I also have a lot on wood, which is far too many on wood. I should be sending some off and moving more onto farm production, which I think I start doing. And then, or even just taking some of the hunt. But if we see what he's doing, so I'm focusing purely, making sure my wall is all clear, which is good. Yeah, so if I were to send a couple skirms up, I would pick most of these archers off. Like, maybe not, like, if I sent 4 skirms out, 4 skirms versus 6 archers, I'd take that fight. That is a very good fight for me to take. So I send my 3 skirms out to see what's going on. That archer dies hilarious by a cat. I never saw that. I build a market just to help with my eco balance. And then I think I lose a skirm. Yeah, so these guys do nothing to the fucking tiger. And I think at this point I just decide to send this guy in and hope that the lion will take off a vill. And just sacrifice a skirm. Probably not the right play. So he's not paying attention with his archers, which means that my skirms get free picks. I think I get some free damage, which is totally fair. Probably need more on gold, but for now, I still have too many on wood. I need to have a 2-to-1 ratio. What else we could see? Yeah, so I just let my skirmishers kind of just harass. I should be microing them a little bit more here. I'm not microing well at all. I just want to draw them away, maybe get that 1, but I know that I need to keep going with skirms because he's still building archers. And I think I start going for Scout Cav, yeah. And so I'm also, yeah, I'm getting fletching, which I think at this point I didn't realize that fletching doesn't affect skirms. Which, actually, does fletching affect skirmishers? The other crazy thing is he doesn't have fletching either. Tech tree. Fletching, fletching, fletching. See, this is something I should know. Archers, cav archers, castles, towers. So that does not affect skirmishers, which is a mistake. Actually, it might. I think it actually does. Never mind. We can check. I have an easier way to check. Yeah, so it does. That is foolish of me. That was a waste of time. So fletching was a good idea, which he doesn't have, so he has to retreat. And I have enough skirms to be able to block him. I go through this gate and start harassing. I see him starting to build his barracks. I remember this game now. And I see a men-at-arms. The man-at-arms blows my mind, because that just seems like a waste. So I think this is when I start building some more scouts, because I know I'll have to deal with some men-at-arms. But, like, I don't think men-at-arms are a right call. You don't, like, I'm not doing eagles. I can just micro away. And then he tries to do these forward barracks, which I think are just a mistake. So he's doing a mishmash AI army and trying to mix things up. I'm focusing on my eco right now, I believe, and then I start pulling things back. Send my scouts to harass the men-at-arms. Well, the skirms, I forgot. Yeah, I wasn't microing too hard here. Because I don't know if I can just pick off a few archers here and there. I'm not too worried about it. Just because I have so many skirms now. So I think this is all fine. Like, he has the 2 men-at-arms. I'm not worried about the men-at-arms. I throw maybe 2 skirms over here just to harass them. But, like, sending this many skirms to the archers, even with 3 men-at-arms, you're not going to be able to beat that. I see the villager, so I decide I probably should go and harass. I suppose men-at-arms do bonus damage to houses, so I'm not microing here at all. So I'm losing a bit too many skirms, but at this point, I'm trading trash units for gold units. Send out a scout. At this point, I've stopped any push he's trying to do. I'm going up to castle. He's not even close to going up to castle. He's still building men-at-arms. So at this point, I'm totally fine. I could have microed this way better, but like he keeps trying to push, and this is not a good push to do. He should have focused, and he brings his villager back, which I don't think he had. Just he needs these archers in there, even if it's for even if it's just to like poke at my cav as opposed to skirms. He needs those there. Like, he can't have 2 idle army when there's massive fights and he's just losing units for my trash units. So yeah, I'm just winning these trades. This is all good. I see this going up. I send 3 skirms just to harass the villager. He's super low. I don't know why he keeps trying to build this stuff, but he's not microing that. And so I get up to castle. Immediately, I grab a couple knights. Do I grab knights? Yeah, I upgrade my stable. I definitely should have dropped another stable to get my upgrades. And then built some knights. But I go for husbandry instead. And that's probably a mistake. And this is where I lose a bunch of units, because his men-at-arms finally are catching an edge. I think I still clean it up, but I'm losing more units than I should be, because his men-at-arms are they're better than my unleveled up skirms. So I'm getting scout upgrades. Yeah, so I've lost control of this middle area now that he has all these men-at-arms, which is definitely a mistake. But my solution to that is build siege, just because when he's doing infantry, building a mangonel helps stop so much, because he's going to go and try to attack this. And so I see that he still has a few more units, and I know that he's going to come and attack this. And so getting a siege work up, I probably should have just dropped this guy and moved him on there to build that faster, but I'm building some knights. I should be building some more skirm. I think I am building skirms, yeah. Just because I know he still has a couple archers. At this point, I need to figure out a better solution to deal with these men-at-arms, even though it's not too bad. I send this scout to go scout, because, you know, if I see he's doing a tech switch or something. Yeah, there's just a goose right here. He didn't grab all of his resources, which says something. But checking his wall to see if I can get in anywhere. This is a super thin wall. I could probably get in. That's not. Actually, no, it's not cut through. Yeah, I see the knights go and pick off this villager trying to build another forward barracks, which again is a waste. I think I'm just waiting on gold right now. These knights should be going and attacking that. I don't know where are his men-at-arms? Oh, his men-at-arms are going to attack. Yeah, this is a huge mistake by him. He's going to chase down that scout. Scout's doing nothing. The 3 knights are way bigger of a problem. So I think I actually get in here. And he is going to get wrecked. He tries to fast wall. Does a really poor job. And so at this point I have 3 knights raiding. I'm pretty sure these guys have +2/+2. So it's like I could just attack underneath the town center. He finally got to castle. He's building some spearmen. He has a couple of barracks, so he can actually produce some spearmen, but like the knights are just gonna keep harassing and get a huge amount of villager picks. At this point I build a mangonel for defense. I have some skirms. These knights are just being annoying. They're idling a whole bunch of time. The scout's still chilling over this. He didn't even kill this. Okay, now I bring the scout over because I figure, you know, that might be useful. And I'm focusing. I think I'm microing up here. When I go back, do some eco upgrades, and I think this is where I lose my knights because I'm not paying attention at all. I should be switching back and forth much faster. And this is where I see he has camels, which is annoying. But I've dealt so much damage that it's super helpful at this point. So I just send this knight. I have 1 knight left. I just send him to be annoying, keep his forces tied up. Because as long as he's chasing my knight down, he's not attacking me. I have another knight harassing his TC. This knight should have kept running. But I think at this point, I am trying to figure out what I want to do with I'm building some units. I need more production right now. 24 farms, I could probably support another stable and just start spamming some light cav. Though the problem is that I know he's going heavy on spears because I've been harassing with cav. So I don't want to build too many light cav because that's going to get wrecked. My biggest mistake right now is I think not rushing a castle. Because if I got a castle right now and started producing Mangadai, I think things would be going a lot better. But I take down 1 barracks. This knight was still running around harassing him, forcing his APM to dwindle. But he has a decent force here, and I think that's a huge problem that I'm trying to just boom right now, as opposed to, because I've built a 2nd TC here. I never got a 3rd TC up. Oh no, I did. Not the best place for a 3rd TC. But I definitely do not have anywhere near enough of a force, because he has been just non-stop producing. Yo, what's up, Coop? I am doing some match analysis. I just chose one of my random games previously, and this is a game where I think I win, but remember this game? Yeah. I forget if I'm pretty sure I won, but I'm talking about right now the big problem is that I'm trying to do a full boom, and I do not have anywhere near the military needed to, defend against this, and this is a huge problem. So I forget exactly what happened here, but I have a couple knights harassing this area, and now there's just, how big is this, 20 people? Yeah, 22 people, and I have 7 skirms. And so this is where I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out. Let's view lock real quick. So I'm panicking at this point. I need to bring I'm trying to micro, I think, yeah. So I spam, click, I build this castle. I lost my onager, or my mangonel, which is huge and a mistake. But yeah, so I'm building some spearmen to try to deal with these camels. I have another onager that's gonna get lost. I'm just trying to get this castle up, because if I don't get this castle up, I lose the game. I lose too many villagers here. That is a big problem. But I think getting this castle at least halfway is helpful, especially because his APM. This is where I said you should sell some food for gold for knights. Yes, because I only have 1 person on food, or 1 person on gold, which is, I think I just have a relic somewhere. Maybe not. But yeah, I think I just needed. The main problem right now is that I don't have production buildings. I have these 4 knights, which are doing nothing and can't do anything against an army of spearmen, men-at-arms, crossbowmen, and camel riders. Like, my knights right now are not doing very much anything. If I had a couple more barracks, I could spam some spearmen for the camels. I could spam. If I had another archery range, I have 2 archery range, but I'm not. I don't know why I'm not spamming skirms, because skirms run in with a couple skirms here, clear out those crossbows, and that would be pretty good. His thing right now is that if he had built a forward siege workshop like right here, I would have lost. Like, you get a forward siege workshop here, you throw a mangonel right here, or ram, and start taking out some of my production buildings. There's no way I'm coming back from that. So at this point I have my TC firing, and I think the TC is in range. It's not, so none of these units are in range. His big thing right now is he should send these camel riders to go. I don't know why, like, attacking a castle this close to the TC does nothing. Yes, push with siege would have been tough. The other thing is that if he send these guys, clears out any of this eco, clears out any of this eco, clears out any of this eco, I'm fucked. Like, the fact that he doesn't damage any of my eco, and because I think I remember right now what I was doing is that I'm back here knowing that he's not hitting any of my old back TCs, and I'm just booming. Because if he wipes out like all of these guys, I'm still on 2 TC back here, non-stop producing bills. Whereas he's over here, he has 2 TCs, I assume 3 TCs, but I'm assuming his queue isn't quite the same. Like, you see he has 2 villagers queued and armory. He has a bunch of, he has idle bills, maybe they just finished. His woodline is atrocious. He has only 2 on that gold, no farms. He only has his farming eco here with not very good refresh. Like, he has an empty woodline here, couple stone. Like, he is not booming behind this. And so if he has a monastery, which he's doing nothing with, yeah. I think another thing is that I have these 4 knights. If I send them in here just to check that hole's still there, and I just start raiding, he's dead. Like, at this point, he has this army, but he has no eco behind it, and I'm booming. So I could have sent those knights and actually really gotten some heavy damage on, because he has nothing at home. Actually, I think I saw a couple. He has a couple spearmen. He has a couple of pikemen here, floating around, but like, I micro this every couple seconds, every 30 seconds, and I hit here. My pikemen come here. I run away, come to this wood line. They might meet me there. I run to the gold line. Like, the knight should be doing something. Yeah, and I think this is where I was panicking, and this is one of those things where it's my biggest. Personally, one of my biggest issues is that I do not deal good when I'm on the back foot, and so this was a good example of I should be raiding with these, but at least I didn't panic horribly, and I'm still booming behind this. Granted, you know, again, if you were to send his guys in and wreck my shit, things would have gone way worse. So, I built a tower here to try to get some guys off. I think I have no one queued up in my TC, or no one in my TC garrison, so I can't defend this. But I don't know what he's. Hold on a sec. Let's see what he's looking at. Because, yeah, he is trying to micro, and it's too late to micro because I'm in the TC. So, and so he's trying to take down this guard tower, which is a mistake. Again, I send my 4 knights in, they decide not to do anything, but I take out a bunch of archers here. My villager goes and does nothing. I lose the guard tower, but he's lost so many units trying to take that down that at this point, like, it's just, I've pushed it back. And he's within range of the TC. That was a good tower, but the castle should have been a bit closer to be protected by TC. Yes. And so at this point, I'm trading. I'm just trying to harass him. He has more units coming through. But at this point, I'm getting that tower up. That tower's at 70%. I'm going to threaten to go raid. I do a little bit of a fast wall. Proud of that one. And I'm just spamming villagers because I know that even if I am... Because one of the things is that, like, score doesn't matter, but I've been taking so many vill losses, but my score is still above him. That means I know that he has not been booming as hard as I have. Like, he has more military. He should have more eco at this point, but because he hasn't been booming as hard as I have, my score is higher, meaning that I know I can sacrifice a few villagers. So Not too sure. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't know how T90 gets those views or anything like that. How do we view this tables? I don't know how to view tables. Oh, smart, smart. So this scores villagers. Oh, he has more villagers than me. I guess I'm wrong. Um, yeah, I still think that since my score is higher, I guess I'm wrong about that. But the fact that I knew he could have been dealing damage and he wasn't, I think I'm like, this is where I realize I think I'm in a good spot because his strategy isn't working. He has all anti-cav, and so I know if I just go if I go Mangadai, he can't do much. So I guess I wasn't as far as ahead as I could have been, or as I thought I was. He's gonna kill a couple picks here. I don't have anyone garrisoned. I think I saved that bill. Yeah, so the castle cleans everything up, and so now I'm in a good feeling. I rewall all these villagers, and then I try to fix my economy. And at this point, I start spamming Mega Dies. I get some spearmen to deal with the camels. At this point, his eco is... Let's check his eco right now. So my eco right now, I have way too many on wood, but that's because I had to move a bunch of people off farms into dealing with the castle building. But I could definitely take all these guys, drop a mill right here, and just spam some farms, and I'm going to be set for getting up to Imp. I'm already easy up to Imp. I think this is where I actually clicked up to Imp right away, because I realized that I could just sell wood into going Imp. I always forget to produce bills when you're getting raided and attacked. Then it snowballs. Yes. And so that's why I'm actually proud of this. I'm happy that this game came up. I just chose this game at random, because this game is a very good example of if you can blunt an attack, and you keep booming, if you don't panic entirely, and you keep booming behind it, you can come back. Because if I had been doing what I've been doing a month, 3 weeks ago when I was starting out, and I'd been purely trying to micro this losing battle, and trying to get this castle up earlier, and not constantly booming, I would not have been able to come back on this game. A key thing I always tell one of my buddies, Coleman, if you just shift, so for my hotkeys, Shift H selects all my town centers. You can use that, and then I also do Control 5 to have my hotkey as 5 for that, and then A is villagers, and so every minute or so, you just gotta press 5, Shift A, you queue up 2 villagers in each town center, give or take, and then you just keep doing what else you're doing, and you don't ever have to really go back to TCs. When you get to high levels like Hera and Viper and crazy level eco and stuff, you actually want to cycle through, and you don't want to shift queue villagers nonstop. But at lower elos, so long, you can see how much food I'm floating. If you just flood with villagers, since I have so much food, you're going to win more battles. Because, especially at these elos, a very valid strategy is just to outflood your opponent. And if you have a better eco than your opponent, because you've just been spamming villagers, you're going to outflood them, and you're going to drown them in whatever units you choose, and you're going to win. And that's way more valuable at lower elos, like 1,000 elo where I'm at, than it is at higher elos where, a properly microed army of 10 units can beat an army of 30 trash because they're not being microed. Whereas here, it's like, if I have a army of 30, chances are they're going to beat the army of 10 because they can't micro as well as top levels. They're not going to do proper builds and stuff like that. So just always spam villagers. That's one of the key things I think is the best way to get to about 1,000 elo. And it's something I've been harping on one of my buddies. Like I said, you just hotkey your town centers and just keep spamming villagers if you're floating food, and then you're going to be set. So let's keep going. So rewall up. Too many villagers here, but at the same time, whatever. I think a smart thing to do would be to go build a 4th TC. I don't think I know about this gold. So let's talk about what I should do now that I've recovered. So now that I've recovered, I think either double down on my boom, get a 4th TC, and just try to get up to 120 villagers. Because I'm only at 73 villagers, and if we looked, he's actually out villagering me right now because he killed a bunch of my villagers. But I think a 4th TC would be really helpful. I have a castle. I'm producing some units out of it. I have one garrison here, but I think like getting a decent army, right, a defensive army, going up to Imp, and really trying to hit all of my upgrades is where I should be. He is currently trying to double down and try to beat me in Castle Age, I think is his plan, which I don't agree with. I think the correct thing for him to do would be to try to outboom me, because he has more villagers, and get to Imp right away. But, so I build a monk. Oh no, I have a monastery. I think university. So at this point, we're both just kind of sitting back. If I were to build, so this is another thing. If I were to build a couple knights here and send them to raid, it would be good. So yeah, I'm researching Imp. As you said, I sold a shit ton of wood. I got enough gold, and we went up to Imp. Decide what army you want to make. If Mangadai, drop another castle and sell wood to go up to Imp. That's a fair point. I think one of my big problems is I don't build enough castles when I want to do castle units. And so this is definitely a good learning experience, is that right now I'm focused on just trying to get stables for light cav. But if I were to drop a second castle, like out here, a slightly forward castle, even a forward castle like out here, since I know he doesn't have much of an army, if I were to send, because right now the army count is way in his favor, but if I had sent a forward castle, even right here, like, and just start double producing Mangadai, he would be having a much harder time. But I think going up to Imp early is the right thing to do, because that way I can get all the Imp upgrades, and those are going to make my army just so much better. So he is building his army up. He's still going full anti-cav, which is a mistake against Mongols, because Mongols' end goal is never cav. Mongols' end goal is Mangadai. It's always Mangadai. And then and then after Mangadai, you use light cav to deal with skirms or siege. And so going for anti-cav units like this, you're going to lose to Mangadai. I think Camel Runners might be fine, but like that, I don't like that. So who is he playing? He is playing the Chinese. So he should be going Chunokis. He should be going Chukonus. He already had all the archer builds. Like, he started out archers and he got the archer upgrades. If he was to go Chukonus, I'm pretty sure beat Mangadai in a straight up fight. I think if he, like, I did not realize he was trying to build this castle. With what? 13 villagers? Oh shit. Actually, I do think I realized this. But we will. Oh wait, no, I remember this part now. So let's keep going, because this gets messy. I remember this now. This gets real messy. So yeah, I'm going up to Imp, which I know. I think I see now. Let's see my view lock. Yeah, so I'm not looking. I see this, and I immediately am like, oh man, he's building this. But I know I'm going up to Imp, so I'm not worried, because unless he hits Imp, then I'm worried. But I realize he's sending so many villagers. There's no way I'm actually hitting that. So I start spamming some more Mangadai. Let's check this out. I think I start making some Mangadai. He starts harassing me, whatever. And I think I start making some scouts now. I send these guys back to go hit some gold, I believe. I forget where they go. But at this point, he finally does his forward siege. And this is where I'm like, okay, this is go time. So at this point, I need to start building a bunch of light cav as defense. I still know he has a bunch of spears. Which I built a couple spears, but for the most part, yeah. So he's starting to get some Chukonus, which is the right thing to do. He's starting to spam all this stuff. He has all these villagers, which is a mistake. Like, he should not be using these villagers. He should not have used that many villagers, I don't think. But so I pulled all my guys back. I get out of Mangadai, I don't think I'm building in Mangadai, which is a mistake. But starting to spam some light calves. He sends the siege rams forward, which is really convenient because I have Mangonel, which is out of his range. And so at this point, I still know that I'm still booming. I have a second castle now, getting my second Mangadai. I do this little bit of a wall, just try to keep him from easily raiding. But I think, like, this, technically speaking, this castle push probably should kill me. Like, this is a very dangerous castle push. A bunch of Chukonus, some spearmen to deal with my light cav. If he was not harassed, if he was not just attacking my village, my production units with his units, and was actually harassing my mangonels, I think this would be a much different situation. But at this point, I send my light cav, try to go and kill some Chukanus. Or kill the siege ram. And at this point, I realize he has a lot of units, so yeah, at this point I need to start spamming as much as I can. I get a Treb, and I probably should have waited for this Treb, for a second Treb, but he has no easy way of closing the distance on it, and I think that my castle will defend a good enough job, and so I think just starting to Treb this now is the right thing to do. As long as I get enough cav to start harassing, and I think I sacked some Treb. Sack my cav to hit these pikemen since they're attacking the Trebs. And then I have enough Mangudai to start harassing. Also, I think this Treb has actually made him panic a little bit, which is always worth something. Let's take a look at this real quick. So, he's sending his Chuganus to still attack these buildings, which is a mistake. If he sent these Chuganus to go and hit my guys, like if he were to send these guys in, it would be dangerous. The siege ram should not be hitting this stuff. He should be microing this to hit the siege, like, get over here. What's his fog of war? He is booming a little bit, so that's still good. Still has no farm production. Like, he doesn't have much farms. Let's look at him. He has 23 on farms and 29 on wood. If you were to just take, when he was building this lumber camp, if he just took all these guys, built them into a mill with some farms around it, it would be spicy. He needs he has a forward siege production, which is good, and he has Chukanus coming to the castle, but he has no other way of producing units up front. His archer ranges are here, his stable's back here, his monks are doing nothing. So if you were to build, like, if you wanted to commit, he didn't commit to anything really. That's the problem, is that he never really committed to any units besides spearmen. And even then, it's like, where's his barracks? His barracks is back here. And up front. He has 2 barracks. And, like, that's not going to be doing enough. He needs to spam a couple more production buildings. If he could flood just a bunch of spearmen right now, he would beat my flood. Because right now, I can't produce Mangudai that fast, because they're expensive, and they're only coming out of 2 castles. I could build a 3rd castle, if I sold and got some more stone, maybe build it right here. But, like, if you just had, like, 5 barracks spamming pikemen, this would be really dangerous for me. I don't know if I'd be able to beat that. Like, he just gets within the range of my castle, kills any Trebs, kills any of my light scouts. Like, I don't know if I can beat that. And so at this point, somehow... Okay, so I lose my Treb, but he's lost so many units because they've been standing under castle fire that I'm not too worried about it. My light scouts chase him out. This villager is going to do whatever the fuck she's doing. And I think I go and start raiding with this, which is the right thing to do, because I'm still producing Mangudai behind this. I have a bunch of Mangudai. I have a bunch of scouts coming out. I have a Mangonel hitting these rams, which is the right thing. I don't think he actually finishes this off, which is a mistake. Yeah, so we are properly raiding. I sent these guys up, and I found there's gold, and just started killing a bunch of them, which is huge. So quick thing he could have done here: delete these walls. At this point, you could delete these walls if you want to build a house here, but at this point, palisade walls don't do anything. You probably should have just spammed pikes and camels and would have won instead of going imp. Exactly, yes. Here, another thing that he did wrong is, at this point, palisade walls do jack shit. Like, they slow me down and give you a warning, but getting better surface area on this stone is way more important, especially if you're building siege units, especially if you want to build a second castle. Because, like, look at how much idle time he has because they're bumping. You get rid of this palisade wall, you get rid of this palisade wall, and never know when to go all in on castle or imp. Always panic to hit imp, and then think you have to imp. My advice is, Coop, let me check. Or Coop, what's your rank? Or what's your elo? Do rank whatever your username is real quick. I just want to see that. Because my advice is, for lower elo, the simplest thing to do for lower elo, always go in. Don't all in. At this, you're like 980, yeah. Don't all in. All-inning is, you have to know when to all in, and I'm not trying to insult you in the slightest, and this is also true for me. We're not good enough to know when all in will work. Like, I will always say your best strategy right now at these lower elos is to almost like outside of it super early all in rush, like maybe if you're trying to do like a double barracks rush or something crazy, if you just go to imp, um, and you go to imp, you boom and you flood, you're going to win most of your games. Like there's a reason to play non-standard games, but the way you get better at this level is to play the most standard game possible and just focus on perfecting that. And I think that's a huge thing you could do. Here on this, but at the same time, you should know when to go all in. At this point, he has me on the back foot. He has destroyed multiple production buildings. If he would just keep spamming rams and had another castle here, this is one of the few moments you go all in. This guy has been trying to go all in multiple ages. He tried to go all in feudal. He tried to go all in castle. He's not committing to it. If he had committed to it, dropped a shit ton of production buildings. I don't think he's floating. Or that's Gaia. I don't want Gaia. He's floating a bunch of stuff. He has no production queued up. If he were to just actually commit, I'd be dead. And so this is one of those times where, if you commit, I'm saying generally you want to go and do standard game and go up to imp, but at times you have to know when to go all in. And I was as the defense, I knew I needed to go up to imp and out research him, whereas he needed to go all in, because if he tries to get to imp and I've been booming behind it, like look at the score right now. My score is insane. Villagers were pretty equal. Military, I guess I'm better, but my research is where it's at. So let's see if we can see economy. Does it tell you research? Tech, yeah, I have plus 500 in tech. Like, he should know that he can't beat me in imp. He should not be able to win in imp. He has super exposed everything. I'm still within my walls. I might be running out of resources soon, but it doesn't look like he can see this gold. This gold is not empty. I have plenty of stuff left. So I think this is a huge mistake for him to go up to imp, and I think that was a huge problem. So at this point, I've got enough manga die that I can kind of sit back a little bit, spit out another treb, and take down this castle. He only has these Chukanus. He's trying to produce a few more buildings, but he doesn't have the production, and also he's pulled away now to deal with this raid. And I've cleaned up, I don't even know how many villagers here, but I cleaned up probably all those villagers. Like, the thing is, he's microing this. I'm not paying attention. We view lock. Actually, I guess I am. I saw that he cut through and I can run in. But for the most part, I think I'll micro this a little too heavily. So he gets up. Oh, I see this. And now I'm just like, whatever. Those guys are dead. I come back here. I see he's trying to drop another castle. And I go, okay, let's send some light cats here. I clean up the siege and his Chukanus. And now he has some Chukanus. But I'm just taking out all these villagers. I'm sending in the manga dies. My Treb's going to take down this castle. I think he gets his castle up, but he has his castle up with no support. And so at this point I have a lot of idle villagers. I'm trying to get them to be sent back. He hasn't checked my left side at all for any, like look at how little I'm microing this side. He has three rams going forward with only a handful of Chukanus. I can hit, and then Chukanus aren't even attacking my units. So this is a horrible job by him. Not to say it's bad, it's a tough situation, but like, he has not been stepping on the gas the right way. So I still have a lot of idle units because they don't like to go and hit farms. But at this point, like, I know I've taken out this castle. This castle's not endangering me. Like, it's hitting my wall, and it's hitting some of my production. But like, I have all these mega die, I have all these scouts. I think this is the point where I knew I was winning, because I'm hitting some of his production buildings instead of switching over to this castle. Because again, the castle's not really doing much, but hitting a couple of his production buildings here means that he's gonna have even less. And they're at such low health that if that Treb hits that, I think actually now I start going to Treb. He starts trying to counter Treb me, and this is where I build my third castle, which I said earlier, and I think this is a really smart play by me. Because once I get the third castle in, I get three castle with mega die production. He's not breaking through. I have 32 on food. I can start spamming a lot of stable units. I think I just send these scouts to go hit this Treb, which he cleans up, but like, a single Treb isn't going to beat this. And Mangonel is also MVP because they've been taking care of the Rams. Do I make a second? I started making a second Trev as well. But yeah, he's sending his rams forward with no supports, and that's just a mistake. His Chukanus have done nothing besides attack houses. Huge mistake. And just good castle placement. Also, Megadai eats siege, so kind of bad by him. Yes. And like even here, I have Megadai that stood there hitting some of his Chukanus without his Chukanus doing anything. His Chukanus need to be microed. You send these Chukanus forward and you hit this Treb, you hit these Megadai, you hit this villagers, you win. And so now he sends this. I send all my Megadai over. I don't know where he's passing with these guys, but that's a huge mistake. Oh, he's trying to hit the Trebs. But I have 2 Trebs versus my scouts. He's trying to build a forward stable just to get more camel riders, which is a mistake. And it's too late. I lose his castle now, but like, okay. He loses, like, he's lost his castle. I lost his castle. That's fine. I traded a castle for a castle. I'm fine with that. These 2, like, let's check the military. I have 21 military. He has 14 military, 2 of which are Trebs. And also, I forgot about this. I sent light scouts over. I totally forgot that I sent a raid. Like, he's just losing villagers. He has 18 villagers idle. And just, like, I have a bunch of Megadai. So it's like his army of a handful of Chukanus. What is it? 5 Chukanus, 2 camel riders, and 2 Trebs. Versus a bunch of Megadai. You're not winning that. So that's why I was fine with trading this, is because he keeps building these forward siege workshops, which is not the right thing to do. You build 1 or 2 siege workshops, and you get those rams or Trebs, and then you build units behind it. Should have probably tried to repair that castle since you are going Megadai. I was repairing the castle. But 2 Trebs will out. I should have sent all these guys, because I think the number is 4 villagers per Treb to keep it from going down in health. But, again, I was more focused on wiping out his castle and wiping out his units. Because even, like, yes, switching that. But at this point, I was like, if I trade these castles, he has no more forward castles. He has no more forward production buildings. And I have, like, I think my army is really good. I have 4 Trebs. I have a bunch of Megadai. And I'm raiding. Like, I have light scouts raiding his economy. Like, I am in a fantastic spot. And so I'm totally fine with losing that castle. I agree. The correct play, pull these guys off wood, repair that, and I would have been even better off. But that's one of those situations where, you know, it's not too big. He has like, this isn't doing anything. He should send that and do stuff. But, like, I make the mistake of not microing against those Chukanus, which I finally start doing. And this one, I think I'm just going in and I'm just like, I'll send the Megadai to clean stuff up. The Mangonel to clean that stuff up. And so I know that my light cav are harassing the hell out over here. I've ignored that entirely. I'm now realizing that, okay, I have, key thing, I have, like, I'm not using these guys to attack buildings. Attacking buildings with units is a waste of time unless you're making a push. These 6 Megadai, they're fast. Looks like you ignored your raid entirely too. Yeah, I mean, so that's one of the annoying things about Age of Empires. Once you get an alert that someone's attacking you, you don't get multiple alerts for multiple attacks. Meaning that he knew that he was being attacked down here, and so unless he looks at the minimap, which is also a very important thing to do, is to look at the minimap, he wouldn't have seen this. And so I should have also looked and seen, hey, I still have a pink dot here. I should be doing something better with these guys, because I killed all those villagers. I wrecked that line. But now they're just attacking houses. Done that, just focused on the fight and lost all your villas? Yes. So if you look at top level gameplay, one of the key things that Hera does is that he will have his hotkeys somewhere. So let's just do H and G, like H and G. Or do I even have archery ranges at this point? No. So he will be like, okay, micro, town center, eco, micro, town center, micro, like, and then it's like, if you hotkey. So if I had hotkeyed, I'm pretty sure I had these guys hotkeyed. I had these guys hotkeyed. One of the best things you can do to get better is just to learn hotkeys. And once you have a group hotkeyed, the moment I'm like, okay, I'm going to send these guys over to this area to raid, they have a good 10, 15, 20 seconds before they're going to be doing anything. That means I have 10 to 15 seconds to press my other hotkeys. Press 1, go check out these guys and say, oh, hey, these are doing nothing. Just send them into the TC and attack. Press 2. Oh, that's my Trebs down here. Okay, then make sure to just pack them up and start sending them forward. Press 3. Okay, now we're back to these guys, and now they're at the raiding area, and now I can micro them. There's no reason for me to watch these Mangudai run over here when I could be using that time to do other hotkeys. And so one of my best advice, if you want to learn how to do it, if you have trouble with hotkeys, play against the easy AI, and don't rush them early, but just go to build an army up to imp and practice hitting different areas of the map. And do the entire game only using hotkeys. Force yourself to learn hotkeys, and it'll get you a lot better, because that way it lets you jump across the map without having to click on the mini map left and right and try to. If you can focus on the screen and then not even worry about checking the mini map, a lot of times things would go better. So I think so I've made sure to actually do that. I'm trying to fix some of my eco, clean this up, and I'm not even looking at my Mangudai, even though I sent them to raid. I'll probably check them in a second, try to clean up my eco here, because even if I lose 6 Mangudai, they probably have done damage, and I've fixed up my eco, so things are good. So now I go check it, and I'm like, oh, these are good. I don't have to, and then immediately, I see that there's no present danger for the Mangudai, and I click away. I immediately start focusing on fixing up my eco, because at this point, he's on his back foot. I know my score is huge. He's lost all of his forward production buildings, which is what he committed to. If I boom behind this and start flooding, there's no way he's coming back. And so this is where I'm just I go full boom eco and start flooding light cav. I need to build some more stables and stuff, but at this point, I have units pretty much everywhere, and things are going really well. And so, trying to clean some of this stuff up. I check here. Everything's still fine here. Get them into better position. Check here. Alright, we're cleaning that up. Checking that, whatever. Still microing a little bit here, cleaning some more. I send my scouts over there. View lock doesn't work great, but so I send these guys over here. I'm attacking from 2 sides. He's building skirmishers now, which I'm just whatever. I have light cab. I already counted that. He has camel riders. His camel riders are queued somewhere. He's not paying attention to this attack. At this point, I even have units standing around, which is not a good thing. But at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm just microing a few things, being a little bit of a micro nerd. 3 scouts should be the camel rider. At this point, I also try to figure out if I should go drop a 4th TC somewhere. And I realize that, hey, I'm not winning against multiple skirmishers, or it's not a very good trade, so I move these guys over. And I think this is when I realize I look down at the minimap and see, oh, hey, he has lumber camp. And I think this is where about he resigns. I realize that there's some stuff. There's some stone, so I go expand and try to grab some more resources. I'm raiding everything. At this point, the game's pretty much over. I've dealt so much eco damage, and I'm just so far ahead in everything. I build some forward siege shops to try to get some rams, because Mongols are really good with rams. Trebs don't do too much for us. I should micro this guy. But yeah, I've just pretty much harassed the hell out of him. I switched to gold, a lot of people to gold. Sent a bunch of villagers forward to, I think I'd do a castle drop. I think that's what kills him. So I'm sending all these villagers to go, just to build this stuff. Yeah, and when you have this lead, when you have a lead and you have a really good eco behind it, the next thing to do, drop a bunch of production buildings. You want at least 5 production buildings of whatever you're building, at least. Castle units, maybe not so much, because that's a little bit different. I should be dropping a castle, but I click 2 more stables. I probably should drop 2 more just so I can full flood. With 36 farms, I could full flood. Alright, Quibble. Don't fall in. And keep flooding, and I'm just in a very good spot. I have my raids going on. I'm microing this a little bit. I realize I'm running out of resources here, so this is where I start trying to think of I'm not even microing my raid a little. I check this. Okay, I'm gonna lose Mangudai to skirms. I'll move those guys away. The skirms can't have to chase. Look how much I've massed at this point. If I just send this forward, which I'm pretty sure I do, there's no way he's gonna be able to deal with it. I see that he's going all very heavy skirmisher here, and I just micro nerd this shit, kill these guys. He has camels. Camels aren't gonna do much against Mangudai. They will if they get in close, but I don't really care at this point. That's 5 Mangudai. I'm micro nerding this. I'm queuing up all these Mangudai. I'm queuing up Capra, and now I shift queue all these scouts, and I get housed, and so I build some vills, and I think I get some houses going soon. I have a bunch of idle. I make sure try not to. I check my idle villagers as much as I can. I still don't realize I'm housed. I think I don't realize I'm housed in this game. I'm gonna be honest, which is embarrassing. But if I would just go spam like, oh no, here we go. I just make a slight wall of house. How do I shift queue? So if you go to something like, if you, so for me in a town center, H goes to my town center. So I can press H and go to any, I don't know if you lock. I can press H, go to any town center. A is my villagers. A will queue one villager. If you shift H, so if you can select all of your guys. So actually on one town center, I can press A to queue up one, or I can press Shift A and queue up 5. So if you do Shift and click on the unit, you will, that's called shift queuing, and that queues up 5 units. And so that'll make things go a lot faster, as opposed to, so then, for example, when I select all 3 town centers, if I Shift A, that queues up 5 villagers spread across all of the towns. Or I think the idea is that if you have multiple, so if I, in this case, I have 8 stables, if I shift S, which is my scout key, if I shift S, it's going to build at least 5 scouts, or one per stable. And then I'm not too sure on that. I have to check it out. But so that'll, because then otherwise you have to press S like 50 times. You just spam the button. It seems, yes. And you can also do that with selling items in market. So if you go to market and you want to sell food, you can hold shift, click sell food, and you will sell 5 times as much food. Which means that if you're at 4,000 wood or food, and you shift click that, you only need to click 8 times to sell all that food, as opposed to 40 times. So again, this is where I cannot stress enough. Go into easy mode, do everything with hotkeys, and only hotkeys, and just force your muscle memory to learn. Once you learn the muscle memory, it will, like, if you learn the muscle memory to do hotkeys and all these small little shortcuts, your gameplay, you will then have more time to do proper gameplay, because you're no longer spending time and energy doing the small things. So at this point, I've spammed houses, I'm spamming units, I'm raiding. Again, I'm not even checking this raid. I know that there's a TC down here. I send my scouts down here to raid it, and I might lose some scouts, but like, I might take down this TC, and he's not doing any idle time. He's idling all these villagers, which is a handful. And also and I realize I'm not going to take that TC down, so I run back, run away, just start raiding, because I know he has more eco over here, so I start raiding. I see he has camels. A bunch of scouts should... I don't micro this too hard, because whatever, it's some scouts. And again, he has skirms, and I just send my scouts in. I have all these units back here. He's finally building forward stables, which is good, but it is far too late. I have an army. So if we look at my army, like, I have 4 times military. It's too late to spam. Like, he should have had the production buildings forward. Production buildings earlier, but instead he built forward castles, forward siege workshops, and he has these backwards archery ranges where he's only producing skirms as opposed to any other archer, like any useful unit. Camels at this point, camels are not the right play. Camels do not beat Mangudai, and scouts, I will happily sacrifice scouts for camels and send my scouts just past. If I send 10 scouts past, lose half the scouts, and 5 scouts get into your villager line and kill 5 to 6 villagers, that is totally worth totally worth all of the scouts. At least, probably not, but at this elo, definitely. So at this point, I should be using my army way more. And I think so I sent my ram forward. I'm pretty sure this is where I start actually trying to close things out. Like, I'm just microing right now, I think. Like, let's view lock. So now I hotkey all my units. There we go. You can see I've selected them differently. I send them forward. Maybe not the Mangudais, but I send these guys forward. I send the rams forward to take out the production buildings. Because I know if he's building the production buildings there, and I take those out, he still has no way of producing units that can deal with me. I send my Mangudai forward, I send my rams forward, I start building a forward castle. And once I get, like, at this point the game's pretty much over. There's not too much worth talking about now, but you can see that just like I'm switching back and forth, making sure to send my rams to the most important buildings. I built 2 castles, really. Okay. Yeah, I built 2 forward castles just to really crush his map control. Probably keep creating villagers. Yeah. So one thing about the villagers, so game's over. A very important thing about villagers, you want to aim to about 120. Do I use select all idle villagers too? I do not. I probably should. I don't use select all idle villagers, and I do not use select all idle military. I definitely should be using those. But I use spaceball to select individual idle villagers, and as some of my buddies will tell you when we're on Discord calls playing games together, I abuse the shit out of my spacebar. So whenever I am done doing something, for example, like I just sent the Mongols, the Mangudais on a raid. I immediately press spacebar. I barely ever even look at the idle villager count. I almost never check that. I press space, and that'll bring me to a idle villager, and usually I can see more idle villagers. And I do something, send them to do something, send a couple more, do that, and then I click on the mini map, go where I need to. So pretty much whenever I have, after a couple actions, I always check. Scroll wheel down is your go-to idleville. That's not a bad one. My thing is I don't like using scroll wheel, just because I don't have my middle finger on the scroll wheel. I usually have my middle finger on the right click. I think, yeah. So I don't really use my scroll wheel very often in games, but so that was a really good game that shows how to defend. I'm really happy that I actually replayed this game because this was a very good game that I was happy with. So return to map. Let's just take another look. So I've sent a few other things. I sent some more villages because, like, again, at this point, I don't know when I checked it, but I knew that this line was out, and they're also walking a huge distance. It's not worth building a lumber line for this few wood when there's all this wood left. So this is where I send all these guys over here. I think I knew about this, so if we go Fog of War. Game's over, so you don't see Fog of War. But, like, I could have sent some guys to go grab this stuff. I don't think I saw this. I didn't know about this, but, like, I had people on the stone. I had people on all these lumber lines. Because after a certain point, if you have all these extra vills and you don't have anything to do with them, if you just put them on lumber, at the very least, they're not idle. And then you can always sell the lumber. So a few other things. Let's see. He never fully walled his base. I just realized. I could have always snuck around. That's a huge mistake. He might have torn down his... Actually, no. He may have torn down his walls. I thought this was walled. But, yeah, that's a mistake on him. He didn't scout properly to wall it. I'm destroying his production buildings. He has only this, and he's only producing skirms. I don't even know if his skirms were... Where's some of his skirms? Does he have any skirms left? Here. So those skirms look pretty upgraded. Okay, so he's fully upgraded skirms to deal with a Mangudai, but, like, skirms fold against scouts. And then he has a castle, a backwards castle. If he had built the castle here, like, this is a good safe castle, but that's not where the core, like, at this point, you need a stone wall or a house wall, some of this stuff. And you build that castle, I think, over here, where I keep raiding. Because at this point, like, if I start blowing this shit up, like, what is this defending? This is defending some farms and nothing else, and me getting to the rest of your base, where you have no useful resources. All of your useful resources are this stone pile and this gold pile. Need to protect gold, exactly. So, like, I can understand he wants a castle to start producing chukanu's or something out of it, or just to defend against raids, because I was raiding the hell out of him. But, like, you fix the wall, you wall off this, you build a stone wall just all the way down your base or something, but, like, you need to defend this area. And then, I mean, at this point, again, he's lost his battle for quite a while. But that's kind of the key thing, I think, is that building a castle here to protect this gold would have made life so much more difficult. Because, like, you build it here, and you build these 4 forward stables, it is very hard for me to deal with those 4 forward stables at that point. I can send my cap rams in, which is great, and I can defend them, but everything will take fire. You send your camel riders to go attack this. My Mangudai can attack your camel riders, but my scouts can't do shit. Because if my scouts run in, they're getting castle fired. And then you can set all your skirms underneath the castle, and my scouts can't really do much about that. And then it also prevents me from running in, and at the same time, it's like, this castle just doesn't do much. I definitely should have probably grabbed a few more relics with my monk. At the same time, I don't think this came down to needing the relics, but I think I had a monk floating somewhere. Where's my what is it, Control Y? Monastery. I don't think I ever produced a monk. I think I was going to, and then he attacked, and he did the castle. I think this was before the castle drop. Yeah, I built this before the castle drop, and then I realized he was going all in, and just wasn't worth it. I had trebs. I didn't use these trebs at all. If I'd sent these trebs forward and just bust down these skirm, like if I'd bust down his market, he probably would have had to resign. Especially at this elo where you rely on markets to fix bad ecos. That's huge. He has a pikeman randomly over here. Like, this town center is not a very useful town center. If you put this town center here, instead, oh my god, if you put a town center right here, instead of the gold and stone, he could have spammed villagers here. He could have taken care of all these resources way faster. Built farms here, built a castle here, to have a town center and a castle to protect this. It would have been huge. Okay, so I think that's all I really need to talk about this game tonight. This was a very good game for me to do, and I'm going to end the recording. Let's look at statistics real quick, just double check, see if there's anything else useful. And so we can see, yeah, I got huge kills. Largest army. The army never got really large. It was all much more valuable units. We kept running them into each other, which is a sign that, you know, we're both trying to win, as opposed to lower elo where you just mass an army and then one big fight. As you saw, like, I got a lot of shit done with small squads of 6 scouts, sending shit in and just hitting people left and right. My eco was glorious. I won in all the eco things. Technology research. He got more research, but he was building a lot more units than I was and switching between stuff. He researched a bunch of men at arms, which meant that's a lot of infantry builds. He switched into skirms. He switched from archers. He did Chukonoos. He did camel riders. He needed to come up with a solid decision. He never had a solid plan besides that castle all in. Like, the castle all in was a solid plan, but he gave up on it and he didn't commit to it. Village. He did good villagers. He kept his villager count very high even with all the raids, which is good. And yeah, like you can see here at that castle all in right here, I should have lost that. When he focused on hitting that castle as opposed to raiding my economy, that was what allowed me to get back in the game. So that's gonna do it for this first replay. This is definitely I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I'm gonna go grab my mojito, which is hopefully chilled down now. I can find another game. I can either do another game to analyze, which I think I will because I'm actually enjoying this a lot, or I can play a game. But at this time, let's see if I guess I'll just do the ending scene for the fucking YouTube. Check me out on twitch.tv, the Mojito Monday. I do analysis and drinking mojitos every Monday night. I'm gonna start doing this more. Check out my Discord where you can submit replays if you'd like. And hopefully I will get around to analyzing them. My rank is only 1,000, but any analysis is better than no analysis. So please check me out, and hopefully I'll catch you guys around.